UFC 313 is coming up next weekend, and today, guys, I have the complete betting guide for you with timestamps if you'd like to skip to any part of the video. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another video. If you are new here, my name is Kyle. I am your guy with many YouTube channels. Guys, we're going to be going through confident picks and underdog opportunity fights that I believe you should not be betting on, my personal lock of the week, and then we're going to move into a little bit of the fun part of the video, that being props and parlays, seeing if we can make anything ridiculous. If there's any props we can take a look at right now, and then we're going to get into the channel betting recap. Again, timestamps are there if you would like to skip to any part of the video. Thank you for being here. Let's get started with the first confident pick, and the first one that I have for you guys is going to be Joshua Van. Sorry, I wasn't scrolled down over there, but Joshua Van, guys, Ray Tessura seems like he's going to be a contender in the division. I was very impressed by his UFC debut, but Joshua Van has been consistently having amazing performances against phenomenal fighters, and I'm a little bit shocked that he is the favorite that he's at right now. Joshua Van should be a little bit of a higher value in my opinion, only losing to Charles Johnson so far, but he was having a phenomenal performance there, ended up getting caught. Charles Johnson is a phenomenal fighter as well, had one of the best fights in the entire world with Edgar Cherez, Cody Durden, and it's very important to look at Cody Durden in this fight. He showed that he can defend against wrestling, something that Ray is going to bring up to him. I like that he doesn't accept any bad position. I like that his defense is getting stronger, and I like that he only gets stronger as the fight goes on. I think that he's going to do a great job in this fight, and I think that he has a really, really good chance in beating Ray Tessura in this particular matchup. And by the way, guys, if you are new to this channel, we kind of have a recap of my opinions on each fight for this betting guide series. If you want me to dive as deep into these fights and the fighters as we can possibly get, we already have a full card breakdown out for you to check out. But let's move on to the next confident pick I have for you guys, and that is going to be Curtis Blaydes. Guys, you're taking a guy coming into his UFC debut who's had a questionable past, questionable PED usage off of them arguably, and you're throwing him against one of the top contenders in the heavyweight division, a guy who might be one of the most skilled fighters in the division, and he absolutely would be champion if he didn't have a chin issue. That's important to note if you're going to be betting on this fight, by the way. Curtis Blaydes, he's the possibility of him getting knocked out is always there, but guys, this is the way that I'm looking at it, okay? Curtis Blaydes loses when the fight matters. When it's something like an interim title fight, when it's a high-level fight, when it's a title elimination bout, something along those lines, he might lose. This fight does not matter. He's not fighting anybody of significance, so Curtis Blaydes is probably going to absolutely destroy Vizran Kuniev. Curtis Blaydes is another confident pick of mine, but let's continue on to an underdog opportunity. This is a fighter on the card that he is an underdog. I believe the capability of him to win is absolutely there. This could be the parlay buster. If you're looking for a crazy value bet, this is where it's at, and this is an underdog that I could see succeeding. I'm not going to be betting on this fight. I am not confident this fighter is going to win, and I am going to pick his opponent, but it would not shock me one little bit, and everybody is underrating Bobby King Green. He's taking on Mauricio Ruffy, who is one of the contenders in the Fighting Nerds, looking to be the real deal. But guys, Bobby Green is the best opponent that Mauricio Ruffy is taking on, okay? By far. By far. And I've been saying this about both him and Gene Silva. One of these days, he's going to get chinned with the amount that he's been clowning around. Excuse me if you could hear my notifications. Let me fix that real quick. One of these days, when he's clowning around in the octagon, when he's moving around with his hands down, he can get chinned. He will get chinned. It's going to happen one day. Is it going to happen in this fight? I personally don't think so. But Bobby Green, he is 38 years old. He's past his prime. He could still have it. He has extremely fast hands. He thrives in the fights where you're kind of like goofing around, kind of like Mauricio Ruffy will probably do. Plus, Bobby Green can push a pace on him that Mauricio Ruffy might not have seen yet. I'm picking Mauricio Ruffy to win this fight, but if you're looking for a crazy value bet, Bobby Green he should not be the level of underdog that he's at right now, and I wholeheartedly believe that. Bobby Green could be the big parlay buster of this card. But now, guys, let's continue on to a few fights that I believe you should be avoiding. The first fight, and this is because both fighters are great, Jalen Turner, Ignacio Bahamondes. I don't have a lot to say about this fight, guys. They are both surging contenders. They are both phenomenal at what they do. Both of them use their size, reach, length to their advantage. Both guys are pretty similar. Like you can see, they're the same height and the same reach. I don't know how this fight's going to go. The odds are reflecting the same thing. I think this is the toughest fight to predict on the entire card, okay? Let's continue on to the next fight that I believe you should be avoiding. And a little bit of the opposite of what I was just saying. It's Amanda Lemos versus Eisman Lucindo. Neither girl has really been impressive. I know Lucindo's on a 4-fight win streak, but nothing has screamed to me like, oh my god, it's going to be a contender. She's getting thrown to Amanda Lemos, who could just... Sometimes she wins, man. Like, I don't know. It's one of those fights that's just weird. Neither girl's really good in the division, so I'm going to stay away from this one personally. I think that you should too. Now, This one, I also strongly believe you should be staying away from. Justin Gaethje versus Rafael Fiziev. If both guys were healthy, and yeah, sure, okay, then you have your case. But you got to think about a huge asterisk for both of them. Justin Gaethje, we got to question where his headspace's at. He said that if he gets knocked out again, he's going to retire. Does he have one foot out the door? How hard is he training? Secondly, Justin Gaethje just got flatline KO'd after a beating from Max Holloway not even a year ago. Sometimes fighters who rely on their chin like Justin Gaethje who go to war, one of these days, that chin's going to get cracked. That chin did get cracked, and I know we've kind of seen it get cracked before, but he got a faceplant knockout KO. Maybe his chin won't be the same. We have to worry about that, and he's 36 years old. One of these days, we're going to see all that damage catch up with Justin Gaethje. He's going to show up looking like a shell of his former self. I don't like and I don't trust Justin Gaethje right now, okay? I'm worried about the version of him that's going to show up. Rafael Fiziev, on the other hand, okay? He's taking this fight on short notice. He's already had cardio issues in the past. Supposedly he's in shape, but you got to worry about that if anybody's taking the fight on short notice, okay? He's coming off, and I don't know specifically what the leg injury was, but apparently he, absolutely mangled his knee. Mangled it. Apparently the injury was beyond horrible. You have to worry about it, and a guy who comes in and puts so much emphasis, so much power on his kicks, and I don't want to say relies on his kicks, but it's a huge part of his game. You got to worry if he's going to be tentative. You got to worry, is that leg compromised still? It probably did heal up, but what if Justin Gaethje has some wild leg kicks? He could just perhaps reignite that injury, okay? I need to see Fiziev perform before I say that I'm going to be confident in him winning this fight. I need to see him perform. I need to see him throw that leg confidently, and I need to see him do it for 3 rounds. Other than that, I worry about his cardio. It was already worrying. I think that there are too many asterisks of this fight that you should just avoid it completely. I don't care if it's a round line. I don't care if it's a winner. I don't care about anything. This fight, out of every fight on the card, you should stay away from the most. Ignacio Bahamondes versus Jalen Turner, because both guys are just really good contenders. Both guys are training really hard. Both guys can possibly have a shining performance. This one, too many asterisks. I am staying away from this one, and I suggest you do the same. A little bit more of the same with the next fight, where I was talking about Jalen Turner, Ignacio Bahamondes, Alex Pereira, Magomed Ankalaev. I truly believe this is a 50-50 fight. Plus, you got to worry about 2 things. Alex Pereira, he's due for an upset. Alex Pereira, one day he's going to get chinned like with Adesanya. While he's a phenomenal striker, his head's out there when he throws, man. And Ankalaev is a phenomenal fighter himself. Also, we don't know if Magomed Ankalaev is going to come in there and strike with Alex Pereira. If he does, he's probably going to lose. If he does, he's probably going to get his leg chewed up. He could catch Pereira, but you never know, right? Magomed has said over and over and over again that he will strike with Alex Pereira. He's going to look to knock out Alex Pereira. If he comes in looking for that, he's going to have probably a poor performance. What if he's just saying that and he shows up and wrestles? We don't know what the game plan's going to be. We don't know if Magomed's going to show up. Plus, he's fighting during Ramadan. How much is that weakening his body? I know that Magomed Ankalaev has said that it doesn't really matter, but if you're a fighter coming in and it's Ramadan, yeah, that's going to affect your workout. That's going to affect how you show up to fight a championship fight. I don't like this fight. To be honest with you, I wouldn't blame you if you bet on this, like Magomed Ankalaev being an underdog. I get it. He was almost an underdog opportunity. I just am more so leaning towards, and I'm tempted to bet on this one as well. That's why. I'm tempted as well. I'm tempted like a lot of you that are confident Magomed Ankalaev. I think it's best that you stay away from this one, okay? Let's continue on, though, guys, to lock of the week. The fighter on the card that I believe has the best chance of winning is, unfortunately, and I say that's unfortunately because I'm a big fan of his opponent, Carlos Leal. Alex Morono is, it hurts to say, I love Alex Morono, been a big fan of his for a long time. I believe him to be washed. Carlos Leal came back into the UFC, got a fantastic fight against Rinat Fakhretdinov, showed that he belongs, man. He dragged Rinat Fakhretdinov on short notice into a war. I don't care about the technique. Alex Morono perhaps has better technique when it comes to the actual martial arts. Maybe, not even at this point in his career, but my point being, you have a guy in his prime who just dragged Rinat Fakhretdinov through a war, a guy who's majorly hungry, fighting Alex Morono, who perhaps has one foot out the door. I know he has something along the lines of a gym going on, running a gym. I don't remember exactly what it is, but he does have something else going on besides the UFC to earn income. He's a good fighter. He has all the talent in the world, but he just has not been showing up. He looks slow. He looks sloppy, and it's against opponents that, are, I hate to say it, and I hate to be disrespectful, but opponents that arguably could be cut from the UFC. Besides, of course, the Joaquin Buckley fight, but you get my point. Alex Morono is no longer in his prime. Alex Morono is probably not going to show up, and Carlos Leal is absolutely going to win this fight. Let's continue on, though, guys, to a little bit more fun part of the video we have going over here, taking a look at some props and some fun parlays to see what we can have over here if there's anything that, like, there's no hard props that are out right now at the time of recording this video. I'm recording it if you're just seeing this sometime throughout the week, Sunday morning. But we can take a look at Odds Gym over here, and you can see that a couple fights we have props over here. Like, we have a couple 2.5 round lines. Ray Tsurua versus Joshua Van. I don't like that value over there. Carlos Leal, Alex Morono. Morono could last, man, over 2.5. I don't absolutely hate that. Mauricio Ruffy, King Green over 2.5. I don't mind that at all. At all. For plus 160, I think everybody is underrating Bobby Green. Underrating being the key word. I'm not saying that Bobby Green's going to win, okay? Jalen Turner, Ignacio Bahamondes. Yeah, no, we're not touching that one. Magomed Ankalaev versus Alex Pereira over 3.5 at minus 104. I think that one's a little bit too difficult to predict. Rafael Fiziev, Justin Gaethje, both guys are supremely tough, so over 2.5, I don't mind either. I wouldn't predict a finish to come from over there. Eisman Lucindo, Amanda Lemos, they can finish fights. I wouldn't really put that there. You get plus money for the over with Curtis Blades and Rizvan Kuniev. Armin Petrosian, Bruno Ferreira. Over 1.5 being at minus 133, I don't mind at all either. That one probably has the best value right now. And Francis Marshall, Marion Santos, I wouldn't really touch that one as well. But let's take a look at some fun parlays that we can make over here. Again, guys, just like building some things over here, seeing if there's some like ridiculous parlays that we can make. And you can see that I'm not too sure there's like a ton to work with over here right now. Let's just make some picks, okay? Let's make some picks, see what we can do over here. So we're going to pick Carlos Leal. We're going to pick Eisman Lucindo, Armin Petrosian, Curtis Blades, DeJordan Santos. This one's so tough, we're skipping it. Mauricio Ruffy, Marion Santos, Joshua Van. This one I'm not going to do either. And then Magomed Ankalaev. That is definitely not worth it. And that there is no way that hits with a card like this. Something, or a parlay like this, something is absolutely bound to go wrong. Picking a lot of favorites this time, maybe besides like maybe Magomed Ankalaev, okay? Now, something my sister and I do every week is we put 10 cents on every underdog. Let's see what that kind of pays out to be this time around. Let's see what we can get. And it's probably not going to be too much. Oh, yeah, that's just $4,000. That's crazy. That's absolutely insane. But what are some other things that we could actually pair together? The problem is there's a lot of close fights over here where I would play, like if I was like, I would play Joshua Van as is there. But if you wanted to do like Curtis Blades and maybe Carlos Leal together, I actually don't hate that. It's just adding Curtis Blades to a parlay, like he could just get chinned. That's the Curtis Blades way. Carlos Leal and Mauricio Ruffy, I don't think that's worth it at all. At all. Like, Carlos Leal's probably a shoe-in to win, man. If you want to add to, like, an Armin Petrosian bet, I almost included Armin Petrosian in my confident pick section, but I'm not, like, really, really confident on him. I think he's just going to be a little bit better than Bruno Ferreira. But Armin Petrosian is something that I definitely wouldn't argue with if you wanted to play that one. But I like Joshua Van, man. But again, like, who else are we going to pair him with? Like, I'm not going to bet on Jordan Santos. Like, Joshua Van and Carlos Leal. There's not a lot to work with, man. Not a lot to work with. What if we just pick the confident picks, okay? Carlos Leal, Curtis Blades, and Joshua Van together. That's decent value, but again, with parlays and MMA, something is absolutely bound to go wrong. And what we're going to show you is something that is bound to go wrong, guys. Let's continue on over to the betting recap of the channel. This was frustrating. And it was frustrating because I was supremely confident in all of my bets this time around. You can see for the UFC Vegas 103 official plays, we have a fun parlay that got ruined by Charles Johnson, but the fun parlay we just throw $5 at. I don't necessarily like expect it to hit. It's just picks that I did like. And of course, Danny Silva, Chepe Mariscal ended up getting the win. I wanted to bet on Chepe Mariscal, but there was absolutely no value on him. And then we had two different single bets for 0.5 units, both William Gomez and Esteban Ribovics to win. Guys, I lost both my bets to a split decision. And what's crazy is the William Gomez one, I get. I am shocked that Esteban Ribovics lost his fight. I'm shocked. I was very confident to get the job done, and I was considering placing more than 0.5 units on him. Esteban Ribovics, it was a tough fight, but Nasrat Haqparast pulled it together, and it was frustrating to watch, man, because Esteban was just throwing at Nasrat's guard the entire time. Let's not go to the body. Let's not kickbox the boxer. You know, like, it didn't make sense to me. But other than that, William Gomez, he crumbled under the pressure a little bit. I know a lot of people are talking about robbery. I thought that I wouldn't argue with you if you wanted to give the fight both to William Gomez and Esteban Ribovics, but I personally had both of them losing the fight. It was very close, but hey, man, it happens. It's the crazy game of MMA that we bet on. That's why I say you never bet with money that you're not willing to lose, and you never do long parlays when it comes to MMA. It's very, very tough, man. So That hurt because, again, with both of these bets, I was supremely confident in. But, guys, let me know what you think about it down below. Thank you so much for watching the video. Check out the full card breakdown right in here, and I would love to have you over there. Thank you so much again. Take care, everybody.